Hello everyone. So today I'm going to start next topic from unit 3, that is fundamentals of Java programming for grade 12 students, and subject is information technology, subject code is 802. So in the previous video I have discussed about the repetition structures, and in that I have discussed about while and do while statement. So today we'll start the topic from the for statement. It is also in the repetition structure. So syntax or the structure of the Java for statement is given. You can see here that here firstly we will write for, and after that we'll open the bracket with small braces, and we'll write that counter is equals to initial value, then semicolon, then test condition, then semicolon, and then change counter. Okay, and inside this for statement we will write the statements. Okay, and these statements will be written inside the opening and the close braces. Now we will discuss about that what this initial value, test condition, change counter actual mean. So semicolon is used to separate the three parts of a for loop. Okay, so as we know that semicolon is for the end or the termination of that particular statement. Okay, so here we will separate all the three parts with the help of semicolon, which indicates that this condition is one part, and then second condition, and then third condition. Now the initial value initializes the value of loop counter. Okay, so in the initial value we will write the value from where we want to start the loop. After that there is test condition. So like in the previous video in do while and the while statement, we write the expression or the test condition. So that test condition in the for statement we will write after initializing the value for the loop. Okay, so the test condition test whether the loop should be executed again. Loop is executed when the test condition, loop is exited when the test condition fails. Okay, so this test condition, if this test condition is true, then the loop will execute it. Okay, and if this test condition is not true, it becomes false, so in that case loop is exited. Okay, now after that change counter. So the step updates the counter in each loop iteration. So firstly we will initialize the value. Okay, and then we will test the condition. If this condition is true, then the statement inside the for statement will get executed. Okay, and after the execution of these statements, the control will come to the change counter. It will increment or decrement the value according to the requirement, and after that again incrementing the value, test condition will be checked. If test condition is true, then the statement inside the for block will get executed, and if the test condition become false, then the loop will get exit. In that case the statements which we will be writing inside this for block, that will not get executed. Okay, after that, see here we'll consider one example for this. Consider an example to print squares of numbers from 1 to 5. If we want to print the squares of number from 1 to 5 using for loop, then how we will be writing that? Firstly we will write the for statement. Okay, so here we'll write the for statement. The structure is, now after that write the data type, and now this is the initial value. Okay, so firstly we will write data type, then take variable. Here number is variable name, and we have initialized this variable with the value 1. Okay, then write semicolon. After that, as we want to print squares of numbers from 1 to 5 only. Okay, so we will start the looping from 1 because we want first that square of 1, so we will start the looping from 1. After that number is less than equals to 5, so this condition will be checked according to our requirement. Now here we want squares of number from 1 to 5, so our loop will executed till true when until the number is 5. If we get the number greater than 5, then loop will get exit. So our condition becomes number is less than equals to 5. In number less than equals to 5, till when we will write the print the squares of numbers? From 1 to 5. Here number is equals to 1. So here it will come 1. So 1 is less than equals to 5. Yes, 1 is less than 5. Condition is true. So if the condition is true, then it will print these two statements. System.out.print square of plus number. It means square of, how it will print? Square of, in the place of number it will come 1, and then it will come to next line, that is system.out.println is equals to plus number into number. What this plus stands for? This plus stands for concatenation of the terms. Okay, means it will make the terms to come together. So how we will get the output of that number 1? That square of 1 is equals to 1. So we will get the output like this. Okay. So after these two statements get executed, what will happen? What will happen? The control will come to the third step, that is change counter. Here change counter we have written plus plus number. So if we write number plus plus or plus plus number, it means increment operator. Plus plus means increment operator. So what does it will do? So as we are having number 1, so if we will increment that number 1 with 1, what it will become? 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. So now we having the number 2. So again the control will come to the test condition, that is 2 less than equals to 5. So yes, 2 is less than 5. Again control will come to the print statements, that is square of 2 is equals to 4. Okay. So after the execution of these two statements, again the control will come to plus plus number, and here our number will become now 3. So again the test condition will be checked. 3 less than equals to 5. Yes, 3 is less than equals to 5. So it will print square of 3 is equals to 9. Similarly, number will now get incremented with the value 1 again. So 3 plus 1 is equals to 4. Now number is 4. So 4 is less than equals to 5. Yes, 4 is less than 5. Again these two statements will get executed, and after that increment operator again, then 4 plus 1 is equals to 5. Then again condition will get checked, that 5 is less than equals to 5. Yes, 5 is equals to 5. So it will print the square of 5, that is square of 5 is equals to 25. Okay, and after that again the control will come to plus plus number, it means 5 plus 1 is equals to 6. So here now number has become the 6. So 6 is less than equals to 5? No, 6 is not, 6 is neither less than 5 and nor equals to 5. Okay. So what it indicates? That it does not satisfy this test condition, and in this case loop will get exit and we will not get the output at this time. Okay. So now we can use both increment and decrement change counter according to our requirement, which I have told you earlier. So in this change counter you can use plus plus operator also and minus minus operator also for increment and decrement according to your requirement. Now example to print square of number from 1 to 5 using decrement of operator. So in the decrement operator some changes will come as we are using decrement operator. So our loop will start from the largest number, that is 5. So in this case we will get first the square of number 5. After that 4, after that 3, after that 2 and after that 1, because we are using decrement operator here. Okay. So number is equals to number minus 1. You can write this thing also, and for increment you can write number is equals to number plus 1. So these are some methods for decrement or increment operator. Okay. So now styling tip, you can go through the page number 107 and 108 from the book, which you can get easily available on the CBSE website. Okay. So after that our topic is arrays. So till now we have completed selection and repetition structure statement inside that. So now our new topic begins from the arrays. So arrays is a collection of similar types of data. similar type of data, what this term means, that it will consist the data of same data type only. Okay, means if you are having arrays is collection of similar types of data, means if you are looking for integer type values only, so in one array there will be values of integer type only. You cannot take the data like integer, char, okay, float, no. So in arrays it is a collection of similar types of data only, means their data type will be same. Now using array we can store data with any number of values. For example, if we want to print marks obtained of 5 students, okay, marks obtained of 5 students, then we will use array, okay, where marks obtained of 5 students will be different but their data type will be same. It means like if you want to print large amount of data, okay, so as you know, if we have to print marks obtained of 5 students, so every student will be having different marks. So in this case, with different values but the same data type, we will be using arrays. So now syntax to declare array in Java. Firstly, you have to write data type, because data type indicates that which type of value your array consists. Okay, so firstly you will be writing data type. After that, square brackets open and close, and then array name, and then write semicolon. Okay, so this array name is an identifier. Identifier means it tells us that what is the array. Okay, array name. Data type. Data type can be primitive. Primitive means integer, char, double, these kinds of value you can use here. Okay, now example, firstly you have to write data type. So here we have written data type double. Okay, after that square bracket open and close it, and after that array name. So array name, here array name is data, and end this statement with the semicolon. Now here data is an array that can hold value of type double. Okay, so what this statement tells, that data is an array which consists the values of type double. Okay, so now if we want to show marks obtained of 5 students, then steps to create array are, firstly declare an array. First step is to declare an array. So to declare an array, how we will be writing this thing, like double, then bracket open and close, square bracket, and after that data. Data is the array name. This is the method of declaring an array. Means first you have to write data type, open and close brackets, and then array name, and end with semicolon. This is the step of declaration. Okay, so now you have to allocate memory, as you have to save the values inside this array, so you have to allocate the memory also. Okay, so data is equals to new double, and in this square brackets you will be writing the total number of values you want to store in your array. Okay, so this is the method of allocating memory to the values. Okay, so simply what does it means, that firstly you have to write array name is equals to new. So what this is means, new keyword, so it means that you are allocating memory to the values. Okay, so you have to write here double, that is the data type, and inside this open and close square brackets you will be writing the total number of values which you want to store, okay, inside your array. Now this 5 in square bracket means the size or length of array. So here the size of length of array is 5. Okay, and now syntax to declare and allocate memory of an array in one single statement. These were the steps where you can declare or allocate memory to your array in 2 statements. But what if you want to declare and allocate memory to the values at the same time? So for that the syntax is, you have to write double, that is the data type, open and close square brackets, name of the array is equals to new. New is that you are allocating memory, and then write data type, and inside open and closing bracket you have to write the length or size of the array, that how many values you want to store inside your array. Okay, so now initialize arrays in Java. This was that you have not initialized this value, you have created the empty array over here. Okay, so what if you want to initialize the arrays that in the first stage only in the array you will be initializing the values that what your arrays should consist. Okay, so for that the syntax is data type, open and close square brackets, name of the array is equals to, in open and close braces, you curly braces, you have to write the values of your array. Okay, so here as we have taken 12, 4, 5, 2, 5, these are the values which we have initialized to our array. Okay, so now in this case we have initialized array named age. So here name of the array is age. Okay, and we have initialized this array with these values. Okay, so now as we have not provided size of array here, we have not provided size of array, but with the initialization it's understood that there are 5 values, so the length of the array will be 5. So here, so Java compiler will automatically specify the size by counting the number of elements in the array, that is 5. Okay, now array index. So what do you mean by array index? It is also very important. It means that how array will store the value. Okay, till now we have studied that how we can locate the memory to the values, what will be the size of the array. Okay, so now it is also important concept that how this value gets stored in the array. Okay, so each memory location is associated with the number. Number means are, if we have taken integer values, array of integer data type. Okay, so it will consist the numbers. So this number is known as, now it will consist the number. So each memory location is associated with the number. It means if you have to initial locate the number 12 in the array. Okay, so it will associated with the number, means the memory location, you will be giving the memory location in numbers only. So this number is known as the array index. So we can also initialize arrays in Java using index number. Integer data type, open and close braces, name of the array is equals to new int, and then the values were 5. Okay, so in this case as we have taken the size or the length of the array in this closing bracket, that is 5. So in the array we will initialize these values with the help of index. So index of array will always be start from 0. Okay, so here you can see here age, and in bracket I have written 0. So this 0 is the index of this array, age. Okay, so in index 0 there will be value 12, in index 1 there will be value 4, in index 2 there will be value 5. Okay, and in index 3 there will be value 2, and again in the index 5 there will be value 5. So means index will always be starting from 0. Now you can see here as we have initialized the array age with these values 12, 4, 5, 2, 5. So in the array how we will be locating this, you can see here. First we will make these kinds of array initialization. First you can see here that you will be writing array name, and first array name, with the array name index will starting from 0. So age in square bracket you will be writing index, that is 0. Okay, so in this 0 index the value will come 12. In index 1 value will come 4, in index 2 5, in index 3 2, and index 4 that will be 5. So always keep in mind that if we are having 5 values, but index of array will always be starting from 0. Okay, so index will always be 1 less than the total length of the array. Okay, so array index will always start from 0 if size of array is n. For example, if size of array is 5, then the last element of array will be at index n minus 1, that is 5 minus 1 is equals to 4. Okay, because we are starting the index from 0. So the last value will come at the index n minus 1. So it is very important. Okay. Now example int, then this open and close square bracket, name of the array is equals to new int, and then in open and close bracket there is 5. So what in this statement it is happening, we have declared and we have initialized, means we have provided memory allocation to the array value at same time. And how we will be storing these values, here n is 5, so array index will be n minus 1, that is 5 minus 1 is equals to 4. So these are the method how we are having the values inside the array. Okay, at index 0 there will be value 12, at index 1 there will be value 4, at index 2 there will be value 5, and at index 3 there will be value 2, and at index 4 there will be value 5. So total elements are 5 and index will be n minus 1, that is 5 minus 1 is equals to 4. Okay. Now program to print array with 5 elements. How you can print array with 5 elements? Okay. So first in Java programming we know that we write the statement inside the main method only. Okay. So firstly we have initialized and declared array in one statement only with the syntax data type, then bracket, then name of the array is equals to, we have initialized this array name age with the values 12, 4, 5, 2, 5. Now we have to print these values in the array. So firstly system.out.println accessing elements of array will get this thing as the output first. After that system.out.println first element plus age, and then in bracket 0, it means that the first element will be at index 0 will get print. Okay, so firstly we write here first element and colon, and after that at age in index 0 there will be value 12, so we'll get the output as 12. So similarly we will be writing the values at index 1, 2, 3, 4, that will second element 4, third element 5, fourth element 2, and fifth element 5. So this was all about the topic array, that how we declare an array in Java, how we initialize it, how we allocate the memory differently or in the same statement. So it is a very important topic. So it was all about the topic of for statement and the topic array in Java programming. So in the next video I'll be coming with the next topic, that is user defined methods. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you and keep learning.